Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. This is one of these off the cuff in the kitchen with roll style videos. I really had to push to get up and do this meal, but I really wanted a meal, not something quick or snacky type of item, but something with substance. So that meant I needed to get up and cook for myself. Hold on. Okay, so this is a two-part meal, and I typically like to do that because when I do cook, generally 99% of the meals come out very well and taste very good, and it gets consumed really quickly. Or the bits that's left over, it really does need to be recycled to create another meal. So I already had in mind, I saw a tuna recipe. I don't have tuna on hand, but I do have salmon in the can. And so since I'm baking salmon, I thought, okay, I could substitute the tuna for the salmon in place of the tuna, whatever I'm trying to say. And so that'll be like a little side, maybe lunch type of item. You'll see what I mean at the end. And so that's what this little prep section is for, the items that's been pulled for that. And I'll show you how I make it as when we get to that part. And over here, another thing that I tend to do is when I'm cooking a meal, so the meal from last week, about 4 or 5 days ago, I pre-cut, rough cut, and left some vegetables. I've pulled the covering and the protection off of it just so that way I have a head start. So these are already either pre-peeled, again roughly chopped, pre-cleaned. There's my little veggie cleaner over there, and it's ready to go. So now all I need to do is cut it according to the way this dish is calling for. So what the heck am I fixing this go round? I'm just going to do some baked salmon. I got to get this guy out of the package, get it cleaned, get it over here in the baking pan, and then I'm going to season it accordingly. I'm going to melt down some butter. I'm going to drizzle the butter over the salmon with a little bit of avocado oil because it's a high point temperature type oil. I will bake it in my KitchenAid oven for 400 degrees for roughly 12 to 14 minutes. And then do a broil, sorry you guys know the T, so a broil for about 4 to 5 minutes. And I will be babysitting it because it doesn't take fish that long to cook and you want it moist and tender. Now during the time that it's baking, 10 or 11 of those 12 to 14 minutes, I will have it covered. And then I'll uncover it during the boiling process. So that's where we're at. The sides will be a risotto. Now, I don't have any carrots and I don't have celery, but I will mince and treat the base, roux type of, not roux, but you know, the base the same as though I had the carrots and the celery. So I'll be doing it with onions. I'm fixing to get some stock warming up in a saucepan on the stove, so I'll pop back in and kind of show you everybody before they're cooked. And so it'll be some risotto, some green beans, and I'm gonna put some biscuits in the oven once everything is completed. And again, I'll shave off just a bit of the salmon once it's finished baking so it can be used in that salad. Okay, party people, so here's the salmon. You wouldn't even believe my life. I unwrapped the new sea salts that I got from over at Sam's, and the darn thing burst open. And so I had to re-rinse my guy here after I had already had melted butter on him. I had a little bit of Bragg's, the kelp. Bragg's make different ones, but the sea kelp seasoning and some pepper, and he was going into the oven, and I was like, oh, I'm going to hit it with a little bit of sea salt, and what a disaster. But I'm in recovery mode, so this is take 2 with him. He's rebased, and I've got some avocado oil. I just sprinkled some bits of butter on top because it's getting late, and some fresh minced garlic is on here. You want to just disperse it a little bit better. Put a few down here in that slit. Don't be afraid to touch your food. I wouldn't say play with it, but, you know, show it some love, folks. Show it some love. You know, if I had a roasting pan, I could sit it on top of this and then put the base here, which is a little bit of broth, some onions. I've seasoned it, and so it wouldn't be just sitting in it, and it could be raised up, and then the steam would be the flavor. But that's okay. If you have white wine, you can put a little bit in there at the bottom, but we're going to keep it moving. So I'm fixing to cover this up and get it into the oven. Hold on. You'd think my son would come up and be a cameraman for me, but no. I'm just doing this all by myself. Oh God. That's right. It's got to go in this way. Hold on, y'all. Okay, so I got little shop of horrors into the oven, so we're closing it up. Bye, guys. And then over here is the string beans. So the string beans, I rinse them out in the sink. I pour out all the water that they sit in a can, re-rinse them in tap water, and then I move forward. I sauteed the onions in butter. I seasoned it with seasoning salt, garlic salt, onion salt, black pepper, and a little bit of something else. If it comes to me, I'll put it on the screen. I then, once the onions begin to cook down some, but not still half raw, but beginning to be less raw, that's when I added in the cream of chicken. I covered it with a little bit of the bone broth, and it's been cooking down in that. And then about 5 minutes into it being cooked, I added some fresh minced garlic. So I'm going to cover that up and leave it be. And now I'm fixing to work on the risotto. Fixing to juice the lime over the red onions. And then from there, I'm fixing to add the chopped up jalapeno peppers. I pretty much use nearly a whole jalapeno pepper over and then just sliced it up. So once I cleaned it, I just diced it, sliced it, and then diced it. So now I'm going to mix the red onions and the jalapeno peppers together inside of that lime juice. Now, I'm going to probably add a little bit of fresh garlic just because it's just my jig, man. I like garlic. So I just squeezed some out. So not a lot, but a little bit. I'm fixing to get some EVOO and add it to it. Alright, so the salmon is finished. And so I've pulled it out. And like I said, I used the onions just more so to add to the sauce. Just for what you're saying I'm doing here. So it's not all about butter, and it's not all about garlic. You getting some other dimensions. Now, you know, and this is not me trying to insult anyone who just want to stick to salt and pepper. I don't come from a family that does that. We tend to adjust recipes. We create our own. And we like flavor. And so the kelp, I felt like, you know, it's a seasoning that's incorporating 24 herbs and spices. It's all organic. And the kelp is the kind of the heavy hitter. And it's from the sea. So I felt like it would complement the salmon nicely. I tried to go light-handed with some of the other seasonings so that you can still taste the salmon. The salmon itself can still be presented on your palate, and it's not buried either in the other flavors. So it definitely takes calming down. I was getting questions. I got a guest. The phone was ringing. And so I just paused with the cooking and said I'll come back and finish up when I have a steadier hand and I'm completely focused. And so now I'm in that space. You can probably hear it in my voice, and it's reflected in the meal. So it is definitely it's moist. Let me get a, we'll just borrow this guy, he won't mind, and we'll just push a piece off here just so you can see for yourself that it's not dry. It's just coming apart with no problems. And you know, so it's not oversaturated and overly oily, but it's just very nice. So I've cleaned up a bit, and I decided to add some red peppers because they're sweet. They're a sweeter pepper, and I've pulled out the olive oil, and so I'm fixing to pour it into the jalapeno pepper, diced or minced jalapeno pepper, minced red onions that's been sitting in a lime, fresh squeezed lime juice, and I've added some jalapeno peppers, and I'm going, oh God, red peppers, and I'm going to put the EVOO, there it goes, over it, drizzle it over it. I might hit it with a little salt and pepper, I don't know yet, and mix it together. And I'm going to put some of that salmon here that you just saw me peeling apart, and I'm going to blend it together. Be right back. And then over here I have on low heat the diced onions simmering with a little seasoning. So a little bit of Celtic sea salt, some black pepper, and a little bit of garlic salt from Trader Joe's. I have different ones from different companies because they're milled differently, and they have different other things in it, so to speak, so they give a different taste. They have a different profile. So I'm fixing to get ready to get my spatula and move it around, but I want to finish up at least the salmon dish, and then I'll be able to focus on the risotto. This guy here from Trader Joe's, and then that'll be it. These guys, they need to be stirred, but the string beans, the salmon is finished. We have that. I'm gonna bake some muffins while I work on the risotto, and that's gonna be dinner, guys. You see what time it is? I'm tired. Be right back. Okay, everyone, I want to wrap this video up, but here is the salmon salad. Let me bring it over a little bit into better lighting where you guys can see it. So that's how I plated it. I do have some sense, you guys, even though I fumble with words and joke around and everything, you know, the push come to shove, I know how to do things. And the risotto is still cooking, so I'm trying to wrap this up. I'll pop in some, you know, a plated dish of the salmon sliced with the string beans and the risotto towards the end of the video, so you guys can check it out. Thanks for whoever watched this and bared with me and knew what I meant when I was saying the wrong words. I tend to do that when I'm tired, but I really wanted to prepare a home-cooked meal, like I said, and I really wanted to eat a home-cooked meal, so I had to get off my tail. Thanks, everybody. Have a blessed day and remain safe out there. Peace.